Penchant for Trouble by Cassie Greutman. I hope I've said your name right. Exterior forest night. It's dark, sounds muffled through the hiss of a downpour from fat clouds above the outstretched branches. Rain pelts through the trees, drops spilling from one leaf to the next down to a loose pile of debris on the forest floor. Exterior forest night flashback. Wade, 18, a devil-may-care roguish charm about him in a suit tossed on carelessly casual, looks down at his fingers entwined with the girl's, her fingernails painted scarlet. Exterior forest back to present, the pile of leaves shifts, scarlet fingernails find their way through the dirt. Exterior forest flashback, Wade, his face twisted with complicated grief, lifts a gun.
I'm sorry, Trish.
Bang. Exterior forest back to present, the leaves vomit upwards to reveal Trisha Penchant, 16, gasping for air. The sounds of the forest fade, replaced by a rapid heartbeat as she looks wildly about. She's dressed for a night out. This dress has no place in the forest. Her fingers find a singed hole in the stomach of her dress with a faded, puckered scab beneath. The fabric around it is stiff with dried blood. With a Herculean effort, she hauls herself upward, only to fall and be caught by a tree branch reaching out to her aid. Startled, she swats it away, losing her footing in her heels and landing in the twigs and mud.
Ugh!
The branch shies away.
What do you want? Where am I?
A small bush extends anemic-looking berries. Trish eyes them, suspicious but ravenous. Her hand finds the hole in her dress once again and her stomach rumbles.
Okay. Mom said weird things would start happening. It's okay, you're still healing.
She snatches a handful and stuffs them in her mouth. They're awful. With a grunt and a small nudge from the first branch, she's on her feet again.
Stupid calorie-devouring body.
I'm sorry, Trish.
Trish casts a panicked glance around. Nothing but trees, dark, branches, dark, trees.
Stupid forest, stupid trees.
She stumbles forward. She's beginning to find her stride when a vine grabs her, its grip over her mouth, stopping a shriek. She struggles. Ahead of her, a shadow moves, a person, a big person. Trisha strokes the vine with trembling fingers, her eyes wide, terrified, tearful. As the shadow finally lumbers off, the vine relaxes its grip slowly, afraid of letting the girl fall again. She pats it, dazed, before reaching down to rip off her shoes. A healthy layer of mud has spattered itself on Trish as she continues doggedly onwards, casting furtive glances over her shoulder.
Sure, weird things, Mom. Could you have been more specific? Like, hey, you'll go all werewolf, showing up in the forest with no memory of the last few hours in no clothes. Well, not the right clothes, anyway.
She looks up and through the tangled tree leaves. Exterior road night, the rain has abated, leaving stars strewn through patchy clouds. Trish breaks from the tree line off the road's shoulder. She looks up, then down the road. There, far ahead, a blurry pinprick of light. Tentatively, she looks at the nearest branch, hesitant but with no other options.
Any more helpful tips? Like, if I find a serial killer club if I go toward the light? Yes? No?
She glances left and right, more embarrassed now, and slowly reaches her hand out towards the trees. Her eyes narrow with focus, and she sighs, disappointed.
Okay, yeah, thanks for nothing. Again, trees are stupid.
With a whoosh overhead, and a suspiciously large amount of water is dumped from above, directly onto her, soaking her yet again, but also washing off some of the muck and blood from her evening wear. With an even deeper sigh and an eye roll, she steps forward, only to slice the side of her foot open on a sharp rock.
Really?
She leans down to inspect the damage, but the skin is already restitching itself. Pulling back together, her stomach rumbles again. With a grunt and another glare at the trees for good measure, she starts forward, the asphalt tearing her feet, the skin instantly healing. Exterior convenience store night. The tired but proud establishment is the only man-made thing in sight, other than the road to and from it. Trisha makes her way to the parking lot, into the soft glow cast by the weather-beaten lights. The sign above reads Vince's Fill Up. She glances at the Soul gas pump. Interior truck night flashback. Wade is draped across the bench seat of an old crappy pickup, Trish in her dress in the passenger seat.
Come on, it'll be fun. Chase throws the best parties. And you're already dressed. Could you think of a better way to spend your 16th?
Tricia still looks upset about something, distracted.
Afterward, maybe you and me could get some quality time.
With that unfairly charming grin, Tricia is pulled back to the conversation and agrees. Exterior convenience store night, back to present. Tricia blinks hard.
Right. The Halloween party.
With a shiver, she hurries as fast as she can without running to the front door, looking over her shoulder the whole time. Interior Vince's fill-up night. A small rusted chain of bells overhead jingle as the door opens, spilling Trish inward. Overly bright fluorescents reflect off stained linoleum, all to highlight rows of candy bars, chips, and a grill, with 3 rolling hot dogs looking more beef jerky than hot dog. It's a buffet. She winces as her stomach growls yet again. Vince, 45, as scruffy, tired, honest-looking as his establishment, emerges from a door behind the cash register.
What can I...
He fully takes in her appearance as Trish reads the name tag pinned a little crookedly on his faded plaid shirt.
do for you?
Tricia tries to look a great deal more okay than she obviously is.
I was hoping I could call my parents.
Vince nods, pulling a beaten cordless from behind the counter, still eyeing Tricia's battered evening wear.
Sure, I suppose. Is it long distance?
Maybe. Where are we?
Vince's fill-up on Joplin Road. Near the entrance to Prince William Forest Park. In Virginia?
Virginia?
United States of...
Yeah, I really don't know. Is DC long distance?
Vince just stirs.
Washington, DC?
Vince regards her once again, chewing on his lip before relenting and handing the phone over with a gruff sigh. A grisly teddy bear.
Make it quick, young lady.
Interior car night. Dan and Nina Inza, mid-late 30s, occupy the driver's and passenger's seats. It's clear from their Hispanic features that they are not Tricia's biological parents. Nina is small, but even still has underlying scrappiness and ferocity, while Dan is more of a gentle lion, until he needs not to be, like now.
I swear, Nina, if this is because of that boy.
No, Dan, but it's we should focus on now that she did call us.
He drums his fingers against the steering wheel, obviously wanting to fume more, but doesn't.
That's big.
It is.
I'm just saying, with my job.
You're supposed to say it as well.
Oh, sorry.
I have
Lots of resources
at my
disposal.
Dan side-eyes his wife before they break into a couple of tired, relieved, and desperate chuckles. Nina reaches over and Dan takes her hand. Beat.
You let Lester know?
I left him a message. Eventually, he's going to wake at 11:30 on a Saturday. Is he 300 years old? Who's asleep at 11:30 on a Saturday?
Dan smiles at her attempts of normalcy. He loves this woman.
Hopefully, social services give us a break, since we were the ones to locate her.
Nina swallows, tries not to show the tears brewing, and squeezes his hand again. Interior convenience store night. Tricia, now sporting a beaten jacket several sizes too large, is in a battered folding chair to the side of the counter, eating an overcooked hot dog. All of them are now cleared from the food roller, swallowed down along with a bag of off-brand chips. Vince is absorbed in changing a bulb in one of the drinks refrigerators, a line of kombucha behind his head.
You ever hear of kombucha?
What now?
Kombucha. The rock climber types that come through are always going on about it, so I figured I'd keep it in rotation. Tried it not too long ago. Tastes a little like spicy dirt.
Dirt?
Yeah, but spicy. In a good way.
Tricia nods sagely, wiping crumbs from her front as Vince goes back about his business. Headlights sweep across the front windows from outside, catching both their attention. Tricia subtly moves behind the counter as Vince paces over to the window from the coolers.
Dark four-door?
Yeah, that's them.
She sheds the jacket and tosses it onto the counter, then stops and folds it slightly neater, looking back towards Vince. What an endearingly strange guy.
Thanks, Vince, for everything.
Vince grins crookedly before holding up a finger and pacing to a rack of snacks. He grabs the sole bag of remaining off-brand chips Trisha had and tosses them to her with a wink.
Thank you.
Yeah, they were all expired anyway.
Exterior Vince's fill-up continuous. Nina is already flying from the car when Trisha makes her way out, all but tackling her in a hug.
Hey, Nina.
Oh, sorry. Oh, honey, we were so worried. What happened? Are you hurt? Why are you wearing...
She pulls back to get a better look at Trisha and her tactfully crossed arms, hiding the bullet hole, her eyes full of tears as Dan approaches, ever calm, pulling off his coat.
Yeah, it's cold enough to get hypothermia out here.
He drapes it gently around her shoulders.
I'm fine, not hurt. I've only been out here since just before dark.
Do we need to call the cops?
No, really.
Dan and Nina exchange a glance as Trisha looks up and down the road again, nervous.
I just want to go home. Get out of here. Please?
Nina manages a smile through her tears and they turn towards the car. Dan gives Trisha's shoulder a kind squeeze.
I'm going to go thank the man.
He may have given me some snacks.
And pay him, evidently.
Interior car continues. Trisha slides into the back seat as Nina climbs up in front.
Is it okay back there? Dan won't admit it, but he was way too excited about trying out the backseat heaters.
Yeah, it's nice.
Honey, are you sure we don't need to call the police? If something happened, it's not...
No, Nina. I promise. It's not like that. I was alone when I woke up, anyway.
She reaches forward to awkwardly, sincerely squeeze Nina's arm before slumping back. Out of the window, a pair of truck headlights come speeding down the road, along with the roar of an old engine. Interior, inside house, night, flashback. Through a kitchen window, we can see Dan and Nina arguing with Trisha in front of a well-planned birthday decor. Trisha makes a fiery exit, slamming the door behind her before storming to the big, spluttering white pickup waiting at the curb, Wade's pickup. Interior car back to present. Trisha drops below the window as a black pickup continues by on the road, her breath coming in and out in bursts. She clutches at a bullet hole in her dress.
Just so glad that you called me and you were here and safe.
I'm going to cut it there because that's page 10. I know we've got page 11, but we're being strict. I'm being strict. I'm going to say one thing. I'll leave the second thing till later. There's one thing I want to just say, which is, if all of her other wounds are healing instantly, why isn't the bullet wound? Okay. John, what would you like to say?
Oh, I enjoyed that. I want to know where it's going. There's not really much more I want to say. I just want to know where it's going. Once again, annoyed that we don't know. Well, we do know where it is, but we only know where it is because we got to page 6 before we knew where it was. But no idea when it is. So usual complaint, when, where. But no, I really did. I enjoyed that.
Cool.
I kept on reading after we'd stopped. I know I'm naughty, but yeah.
Thank you. Stewart.
I was I have to say I was a little confused at first about how Dan and Nina were involved, and I was kind of going, well, who are these people and why are they here? And I don't know, maybe that was good developing for later, but it kind of confused me a little bit. The other thing that I kind of liked, but I didn't know, firstly, there was a lot of description in the script, and possibly a little bit too much. It kind of didn't leave much to the imagination, and I know the writer's trying to help, the creatives picture the scene, but it almost turned into like a small novel in some places, and I felt for you, Angela. But I think I like the bit with the tree and talking with the tree, and I thought, oh, this is quite interesting, where how the tree is answering back, and this big person, who was that, and all that kind of stuff. So the sort of mystery element was quite intriguing for me. And the character of Vince, I thought was quite interesting and fun. Slightly dark, which I like, the sort of dark atmosphere of it. So yeah, overall interesting. And as John said, I want to know where it goes, but I thought it was just a bit too over descriptive in the script, and didn't give us actors much in terms of character information without too much.
Cool.
So
Thank
I'll
you.
shut up now.
Catherine. You're on, Catherine.
Oh, I didn't hear my name. Sorry. Yeah, I agree with the chaps. It's intriguing. But I found it very difficult to follow at the beginning because I was very confused. I got distracted because I was thinking, is she a werewolf? And are these nails coming out from being buried in the ground? I agree that the description might have been a bit OTT in some places, but I think there's a lack of description with regards to the actual scenes and the details of the scenes. I didn't know what was going on for a while, and that made me not follow it as well. But there are good dialogue in there, and once you try to stop trying to figure it out and just give up, basically, the visuals were very good. So it was intriguing, and I did want to know what happened. But from the point of view of it being a script, the script format, you need to know what you're reading first, rather than a book where you get drawn in,
Yeah.
So I found that difficult. But other than that, it was intriguing and interesting.
Thank you. Emma.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would second, third, fourth, a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, I haven't got much detailed stuff. I mean, I would like them to, I think this happens a lot whenever I've been here. Could you please number the scenes? It will really help actors and probably anybody else, directors or anybody who's working with it. I thought the structure was interesting because it seemed to be going forward and then alternately going back, didn't it? With the sort of Wade time was going back towards her leaving the house with Wade and possibly go further. And it's quite an interesting structure. I quite like that it seemed like it was potentially a bit magical, a bit like maybe she'd been brought up by wolves, or maybe it was like an Angela Carter story, a kind of fairy tale. And, the forest is alive, perhaps, and a sort of character in itself. And just one tiny question, really, one possible answer is, you're saying, Angela, about the bullet wound. Maybe the tiny wounds heal up at once and the larger ones take a bit longer, because it said that it was partly scabbed and puckered, wasn't it? So that's a possible, I suppose.
Unless she is a werewolf and it was a silver bullet.
Ooh.
So true. So true.
May I bring into that, if she was a werewolf, she wouldn't be wearing the dress when she got shot. But there's a bullet hole in the dress.
When you turn into a werewolf.
Pardon?
This is an endless question about what happens to clothes.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, if she was
It might be a very slender werewolf. Some werewolves are quite slim. They look after their figure. They do a lot of gym exercises. They only eat keto stuff.
Maybe that's it. I haven't seen the gym classes for werewolves.
Ian, I'm moving swiftly on.
I liked it overall. I thought there was a nice little bit of humour in parts of it, which was interesting. A lot of unanswered questions, which in this case, sometimes I say that's a bad thing, but that was a good thing this time, because I wanted to know what those answers might be. And, I was almost building my own answers to the questions as I was going along. I like to think Dan and Nina have got some kind of secretive, sinister background, and Dan went in and killed Vince to close off the trail, because there's something about her, Trisha, which isn't right, of course, isn't real, and I don't think they want everyone to know about that. So I like that, all that kind of bits and pieces. So yeah, generally I liked it, and I go along with most of the other stuff that's been said.
Cool, thank you. So there were a few things that came up as I was reading it, because I think my big one was, where is it? Exterior forest night. I instantly wrote when at the top. So that's just a common one, isn't it, that we always come with. things like in the next scene, exterior forest night, flashback, entwined with the girls need to be in caps. So some of these are definitely formatting things, but the writer does need to know about these things. So they're things you need to go over and just double check. Just a point that's coming to you, something you said, Emma, about scene numbers. Scene numbers don't get put on a script until the script is sold.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, interesting.
The spec script should never have scene numbers on.
Oh, then that's yeah. Sorry,
Yeah. But no, you're
screenwriter.
right. It is very helpful when you have them. But yeah, traditionally, that's just a thing. They don't get scene numbers till you're sold and you're in production. And then you
Oh,
get.
how interesting! Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Know that.
And it's like every time you do a revision, then you get different color pages, don't you? You know?
Yes, I knew that bit, but yeah.
What is so sounds where you say still on page 1, gasping for the sounds of the forest phase, sounds needs to be in caps. So those are formatting things you can pick up quite easily. Again, when you've got a shadow moves on page 2, ahead of her, a shadow moves a person needs to be in caps, because that's going to have to be cast, you know, even if it's like a tree, an ent or something. That's a character. So I'm just, yeah. So there wasn't a lot of those bits and pieces, really. I do agree that, I mean, it was great. It engaged you, didn't it? And it made you want to know what happened next, and the characters were nice. I think I agree who made the comment about it being, it's a bit like half a novel and half a script, with some bits, yeah, I agree, some bits of action lacking and some bits overwritten. There was one that I wrote big scribbles round, which was with a shiver, she hurries as fast as she can without running to the front door, looking over her shoulder the whole time. And I can see what you're doing with that. It's kind of something that you would write as you're thinking about it in the flow of that thing happening. But in a script, you have to think about, would you put with the shiver? I don't think so, because I think you just leave that to the actors, wouldn't you? Just to, you know, so it's just about thinking about your sentence structure. And it's more clearly indicated lower down where it says she winces as her stomach growls yet again. I don't think that's kind of not necessary, really. I mean, but if so, I would have said her stomach growls and she winces. It's the other way around. So I think there was some of the other way roundness in some of the sentences, if you know what I mean. Other than that, I'm not going to labor this because it's pointless, but yeah, thank you. Brilliant. Interesting. Like to know what's happening next.